I think husband and wives, we owe it to our spouse to try to steward our bodies as we get older in a way where
Absolutely.
we are our best self.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't expect you at 48 to be a 28-year-old
Mm-hmm.
or 22-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
That's unrealistic. I know that we're going to change. You're changing hormonally, and I'm going to be changing hormonally.
Right.
But I still
I
want
got
to give you.
hormones right now making me sweat. Lord.
Yeah, help us, Jesus. But I want to make sure that I am still my best
Yeah.
you. I don't want to let myself go to where, man, this brother gained 150 pounds.
Yeah.
I right now am getting back in the gym. I want to make sure that I'm planning right now for who I want to be in my 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that I eat, the way that I steward my emotional health, my physical health, all of that kind of thing is also with you in mind, because yes, we're going to age together and things are going to change, but I don't want to just let myself go and be like, well, I got you, girl. You can't go anywhere. I just think that that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to Doing Life with Ken and Tabatha.
Tabatha.
25 years of marriage, ups and downs all around. And we are here to share our good, our bad, our wins, and our losses with you guys that we love. We are a small group of people, but we are a growing group of people, man.
Yeah.
We really are. And we're so pumped that you have found us today.
That's right. If you're new to our podcast, we want to say welcome. We're so glad you're here. We've been praying for you to make it here.
Yeah.
We believe that God has done some things in our lives, and we have some things to share with you that can help you and where you are in your life. And so we pray that you're a blessing, that we're a blessing to you.
If you are new to our podcast audience, of course, we are a marriage podcast and a relationship podcast first and foremost. But secondarily, we are a personal growth podcast. We want to help you get closer to God and closer to the people that God has placed in your life. And so if you're new here, let us know. Drop it in the comments and say, hey, this is the first time I'm tuning in. And you can, of course, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the icon so that you can be the first to get the content that is released every Thursday at 3 p.m. All right. Now, if you're ever in Florida, come worship with us, man. Orlando, Tampa, Gainesville, Florida. We have a campus that you can come anytime to Florida and come worship with us. And we have so many of you guys who's been tracking along with us. And we just want to give you a couple shout outs very quickly. One of the things we want to create is a dialogue where, it's not just us talking to you guys, but we're creating a spiritual community. So please make sure that you leave us a comment. Send us an email any questions that you have every once in a while. I think next week, actually, we might do some Q&A, but we love just to try to answer questions and have a dialogue with you. But here's a couple testimonies. Barbara said, "You are such a breath of fresh air. I'm addicted to watching you. It blesses me so much. Love you guys. Please keep up the good work and stay strong in the Lord." Barbara, thank you so much for writing in. April says, "I just love you guys. I'm a new follower. Every time I listen to one of your episodes, I feel so uplifted and happy." All right. Thanks for helping those in need of perseverance and confirmation that God is good and that God will never leave you. Man, we appreciate you guys. And so if you have a testimony for us, please email it in, put it in the comments right now. We are pumped about today's segments. We feel like we got a good one for you today. Today is called Sex Starts in the Morning.
Yes.
All right.
So this one I feel like is going to benefit the wives.
Yeah, why you feel that
I
way?
feel like because this is kind of giving some tips to the husbands and what a wife needs when it comes to intimacy.
Yeah. I think this is really good. Every time we do a man segment, we try to do a women segment. And when we do a women one, we try to do a man one. So a few weeks ago,
balance it out.
We did one called Sex and a Sandwich. So ladies and gentlemen, you got to go back. All right, and watch Sex and a Sandwich.
Yes.
Okay. And we talked about how a wife can take care of the needs of her husband. Because, man, we real simple, man. I just need sex and a sandwich, and I'll be good. I mean,
Easy
life is
peasy.
good. It's real easy. But today, come on, let's give me some round of applause, please.
Now, women,
Today,
we're more complicated.
Okay.
We're not as simple as you men.
Yeah. Why is that? Can you just be
Because I think, the Lord just did something special when he made us.
especially complex?
Yes, we're complex. You have to do a little bit more to figure us out.
Sounds tiring to me. And that's what a lot of men think. And so we want to close the gap on the difference between men and women. We really do. It is not something for us for women to demonize men for being men, and for men to demonize or belittle women for being women.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to say we are all fearfully and wonderfully made and created in the image and likeness of God. Can we celebrate one another's differences? And also, can we get to know a little bit about one another's differences?
Yes.
How am I different than you?
I think you are, we talked about being simple. I think you're more simple than me.
Okay.
I think I am more emotional.
Okay.
And I wouldn't even, I don't know. The emotional thing, I wouldn't say that I'm more emotional. I think you may be more sensitive than me in a lot of different ways, but we express ourselves in different ways, definitely. I don't know.
You think those are common to most men and women, have those generalities, or do you feel like that's just me and you?
I think most men and women have, those differences. If we were just to put us in two separate groups, women tend to be more, especially when it comes to sex, we are more emotional and are driven by our emotions. Not that we're not ever just like, hey, I like you, you look good. Not to say that, but more so we are driven by the emotional aspect of intimacy.
Yeah. I would love to hear from our audience on this one. I mean, if you guys could just do us a favor, use the comment or DM us or whatever, and just share with us how you're different than your spouse. Like, I would love to maybe do a segment one day of how to close the gap between his needs and her needs. Almost like, and I want to do like a poll. What is the average need of men and what is the average need of women? Because we know that some of them are going to match, some of them are going to be different depending upon the relationship, but I feel like we can find some commonalities there and then just figure out how do we close that gap? Because I think sometimes you just be like, what's wrong with you? You don't see this like I see it? And it's like, no, I don't.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I'm silly or stupid or an animal. It just means that I don't see it that way. And I think if we can have those conversations, maybe we can love each other better.
Yeah. There's been all kinds of books written and studies done. And, counselors, therapists, psychologists will say, very clearly, and even the Bible gives reference to the needs of a man and a woman. Like a man's number one need is respect, honor. A woman's number one need is love and affection. And so those two right there separate us and make a big difference.
Makes a big difference. Okay. Well, I want to start off with the love piece. There's a scripture, and it says that husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. And I specifically really want to talk to husbands today. Do I got any men out there? Do I got any husbands out there? Please share this with your husbands and with the men that are in your life, okay? Now, this is like my high calling, okay? My job as a husband is to love you like Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Okay. That means that Jesus got on the cross and he died so that we could have the church, meaning that I'm supposed to love you in a self-sacrificing way to where I'm willing to put all of my dreams, goals, and ambitions on the altar if it means that your life can be better.
Yeah.
And that's what we call agape love. Now, this is what I believe. It's only to born-again people that can have access to the agape love of God. Now, we can say, hey, I love you, and love is in so many different forms. You have eros, sexual love, a phileo, which is a brotherly love where you get Philadelphia. You have different kind of love, humane love, but the highest form of love is agape. And when the Bible talks about loving you as Christ loved the church, it's agape. That means unconditional, others serving. I don't keep a list. It's 1 Corinthians 13 kind of love. My command in scripture is to figure out how to love you that way.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when I talk about sex in the morning, what I'm talking about is really me as a man and as a husband figuring out how you like sex, how you like intimacy, how you feel close to me. What do I have to do to meet your needs? I think many times men go into sex with what I call selfish sex. And maybe ladies too. It's, okay, can you meet my needs? Can you make me climax? Can you do this? Can you do, I like it like this. But if you flip it and say, how can I meet your needs? How can I make sure you're satisfied? How can I make sure that you're seen and loved? I think that's where great sex is, and it's all founded in agape.
Absolutely.
You like that, huh?
I like it,
like that.
and I think
You like that?
stop it. I think that. Who
Podcast
says
is
that in the
over.
middle of a
Podcast is
podcast?
over.
Who says that?
You like that? I can
Anyway,
see it in your eyes, girl.
no.
Yes.
Anyway, I was going to say that, yeah, I think every wife wants her husband to engage like that, where it feels like, you know, the both of you are in it and want to be there and you care. I'll just say, so like as a wife, as the woman, I am attracted to or turned on by knowing that you genuinely care for me.
Okay.
That you know, love me, that you know, care about me, the inside of me, like all of me.
Okay.
And that makes me feel good.
And how can I make you feel that way more? What are the things that I can do that makes you feel that I do care about the deep inside of you versus
what did we name this?
Sex
starts in the morning. Okay. And so I think the idea behind that is that for the woman, it's not just like 5 minutes before, you know, if you want to have sex, you come over and then you start sweet talking me or, you know, whatever you do. It starts way before then. It starts in the morning. It's kind of like a 24/7 kind of thing where you're always making her feel secure, always making her feel safe, always making her feel loved. So in the morning, baby, you look beautiful today. Baby, I love you today. In the afternoon, hey, baby, you know, just thinking about you, or like those kinds of things to where the woman feels connected. Then it's like, you know,
okay,
the door's open.
Okay, so let me read between the lines here. So what it seems like is that as a man, it could be a little bit more physical for me. So meaning that you can touch me and in 3 minutes, I'm good.
I like
or
a second.
30 seconds, I'm good.
Yeah, I can walk in the room.
I kind of wake up
and
good.
you look and
Yeah.
it's like.
Yeah, it's good. But for you, it's not as physical, even though there's a physical component. It's more emotional in how you feel loved, seen, understood, acknowledged, complimented,
Heard.
cared for all day long. So when we say sex starts in the morning, we're not talking about morning sex, even though that seems like a great idea.
That's a wonderful idea.
What we're really talking about is sex starts in the morning with how I treat you, how I acknowledge you. It's not like at the end of the day, let's have a physical encounter when I have not paid the affection bill all day long.
Yeah.
And we've been ignoring each other and we come home from work and it's like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit different.
I love what you said, like the affection bill. It's the affection. So I don't want to be treated like your mom, your sister, your coworker, just some other woman. I want to be your wife. I want to be adored by you. I want to be treated differently all day, every day.
Okay. Let's break down this emotional piece a little bit, because we say that to men it might be more physical, to ladies it might be more emotional. Well, men have emotions. So when I talk about a woman's emotions, it's not degrading in any kind of way.
No,
it's
not
just
at all.
a different expression of it. Is there anything that you would like to kind of unfold with that when we talk about emotions and you say that you're more emotional, or you need to be emotionally satisfied to come over into this intimate encounter?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think it just refers to like different, circumstance. When it comes to sex, I think that women can tend to be more emotionally driven when it comes to who we're attracted to and what turns us on. You can look as good as you want to look in a 3-piece, tuxedo, like all of that stuff, and be smelling good and everything. But if you treated me badly that day, it does nothing for me. But if you didn't acknowledge me or like whatever, so it's the emotional. Or you can look as crazy as you want to look and just walk through the door and my man came home and that was enough to turn me on. And so that's what I mean. Does that make sense by being emotionally driven? So as a man, let's say, I don't know. I feel like it could be a little different. Like you don't need, not that you want to be intimate with me if I'm some nasty and mean to you and all the time, but I don't think if I didn't say, baby, I love you today, at the end of the day, you're like, you care that much.
I don't know about that. I think that might be an overstatement as well, as if men don't care about being treated kindly.
Well,
and be treated with respect and being honored.
yeah,
and
not
even
that.
you
I'm not
initiating
saying
sex.
that at all.
Because it just feels like sometimes we get into this man's talking like, oh, well, he can just get turned on in a minute. Yeah, maybe so physically, but that don't mean that it's necessarily good.
Right. Well,
The sex is good.
This is, and that's not what we're saying. Because that, no, I am, and again, men and women are different, and let's celebrate those differences. I think our differences, we talk about them a lot, and I think it's amazing. I think it's funny. We joke about it, things like that, like, how we're different. I think that's to be celebrated. But it's really what we're talking about here is understanding sex. The what turns a woman on, what turns a man on. And for the man particularly, we're talking about how to turn her on, how to get her in the mood, how to get her to engage in intimacy. And so when I talk about the woman being more emotional and the man being more physical, I'm only referring in that sense. So if I were talking to a man, I would say, oh, you want to, or if I were talking to a wife and I would say, oh, your husband, doesn't want to be with you for whatever, well, just lay in the bed naked, let him come home and, that'll make him, he's not going to turn you down.
That'll work.
For most, like we're not talking extreme, circumstance. So I would say, look, just lay in the bed naked. That's not to say, because I know how you're wired. I know, like I'm going to use that to my advantage. That's good. But right now we're talking to men and I'm saying, just tell her that she's beautiful.
Okay. So give it all to me. Just slow down for a minute. Give it all to me. So if you were to give advice to a woman or give advice to a man about how to turn on his wife or to get her ready for intimacy and sexual encounters together as husband and wife, what would be your advice to the average man? It would be to do what for her?
I would say probably two things.
Okay.
Number one, we talked about, again, sex starts in the morning, all day, every day, letting her know that you love her, letting her know, find out her love language, letting her know that you love her, letting her know that she's beautiful, whether it's giving her gifts, whether it's just spending quality time with her, whatever it is, however the way she receives affection, make sure you're doing that. Okay. Number two, I would say make sure that she feels safe and secure. And that comes in many ways. So that the door is locked, that there's not kids running around the house, that nobody can hear her, the bed's not squeaky, all of those things. Because, there's nothing for me. If you want to turn me off real quickly, let me hear somebody coming or let me think like, oh my gosh, the neighbors can hear me, or, oh my gosh, the bed, like it's over. Like, I'm too much in my head. So anyway, I would say those two things.
Okay. You have anything else?
Probably. I would say, actually it just left. I'm done. It just left me.
Okay. All right. I have some ideas here. All right. I would say communicate to her. Okay. There's a scripture that says, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. So that means that we have to take an intel list of our wives, where we sit down in a family meeting kind of a setting and we just study them for a moment. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What is your biggest dream? What turns you off? What turns you on? When it comes to the sex part, you got to ask these really hard questions. What do you like best when I do in our sexual life? What do you like least of what I do? What would you like to see me do more? If we wanted to create a better sexual atmosphere, what would you ask me to do? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel our sex life is right now? How do you think that I can improve that? I think us coming to the place where as men, we can dwell with her according to knowledge and just take an opportunity to really get to know her and what makes her tick is going to be huge. Number two, I would say practice makes perfect. To be willing to do uncomfortable things until you develop new norms. So let's say that your wife likes, let me get something. Let's see. Let's say that she likes kisses on the neck. Okay. And let's say you first start off with kisses on the neck and she's like, oh, but not like that, like this. And you're like, oh, okay. And you're trying to kiss her on the neck and you're like, is this it? Is this it? And so I think being willing to do uncomfortable things because practice makes perfect is huge.
Yeah.
So when we first got together, this was probably the first 3 years or so, I didn't understand the anatomy of a woman and that a woman had a couple different places to reach orgasm, whether it be G-spot or whether it be clitoris. So I sat down with a pastor one time and they said, here's the woman's body. You see this right here? Had a picture
They
for
had
us.
diagram.
A diagram. It said, this is the clitoris. You can stimulate this a few different ways. But if you stimulate this is how the majority of women will have climaxes, not from a G-spot through penetration, but through clitoris stimulation. That changed the game. But what I had to be willing to do was to go home and you allow me to practice on that until I could figure out where that was. And I could touch it right, do right lubrication. And I think there's a lot of people that don't have good sex life because they're not willing to talk about it and they're not willing to practice it. I'll let you jump in. Okay.
I think that, and I know that was an uncomfortable time for both of us because it's just, it's anti the, the passionately, ripping all of your clothes off. And, so this was very intentional, us getting to know one another.
Okay.
And I think we just accepted it and embraced it. And I had to be very vocal and own my part and say, this is for me too. And say, hey, no, I don't like that.
Okay.
I like it like this.
Okay.
Well, yes, I like that. No, I don't like that.
Right.
In the moment, very vocal. And I embraced it. You embraced it. And the results are great.
But it wasn't you being vocal like over me. It was me asking.
Yes.
And I think as a husband,
we
I
work
can
together.
ask you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, tell me, do you like this? Do you like that? Which that can be a turnoff as well. That's why you got to give each other enough space to kind of get through the uncomfortability. Because now I think I do a pretty good job. Maybe you think?
Yes.
Okay. Well, tell the world.
I feel like that was a setup.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yes,
Anyway,
you do a
all right,
great
thank
job.
you. Number 3 would be make her feel beautiful, and I think you hit this a lot. All right, because compliments go a long way. So I don't know. How do you feel I do on the complimenting part? You feel like I could do better?
I do.
Okay.
You're not but it's okay. I mean, you're not a very vocal person like that. Like, lovey-dovey, pour it all over. You're really cool and you're very intentional with your words. If you mean it, if you say it, you mean it and you believe it. So when you tell me I look good, I know that I look good.
So what should I do differently?
I don't think you should necessarily do anything differently, just more.
Just more compliments?
Yeah.
Okay, give me an example of what you want me to say and how many times a day do you want me to say it?
I don't know, but just more.
No, what I'm trying to do is this is an object lesson, and this is where men and women are separate. You say more, that means something different to me than what it means to you. So when I ask you a straightforward question, it's not for me to get robotic in our relationship, but I'm trying to figure out what do you mean by more? I thought I was doing a great job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I have red lipstick on. Do you like it?
It's nice.
You sure?
Yeah.
I've been wearing it for a couple weeks now, but I was wondering if you really like it or not because you never said anything about it. So I was like, I don't know if he likes this or not, but I'm going to keep going with it because I like it.
Well, why didn't you just ask me, hey, do you like my lipstick if it's been a couple weeks?
It's not that big of a deal, but it is something.
So you would
that I
want me
wondered
just
about.
to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you change stuff so much. You change the color of your hair.
Women do. That's what we do, but we want you to know it and tell us that it's fabulous.
So every time you change something, you want me to acknowledge.
I want you to be like, ooh, that's nice. Because if I had red lipstick in and I came in and Daniela was sitting there, Daniela said, ooh, Pastor Tab, I like your red lipstick. And I'd be like, ooh, thank you. I just put it on new today. Thank you.
Don't bring Daniela into this. She got nothing to do with this. It's random people on the podcast. I actually really like your lipstick.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. I thought it was sexy.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's good to know.
Okay, so all right. So now as a husband,
You taking notes?
Take notes. So anything that's new or changing, you want me to acknowledge it. That's huge, man. I didn't know that. Okay. I need more though. What else?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would just say things like that.
So when I say, because I know that you don't feel like I compliment you as much as maybe you would like, is there anything else Is it just, so you're talking about shoes, clothes, dress, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, thank you for the food. I'm always like, I think that I'm always like it, but is there anything else comes to mind?
No, just like, probably, I don't have another specific to tell you, no.
Okay, well, if you think of
Sorry.
one, let me know.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm exemplifying is that this is what husbands and wives have to do. You have to sit down, because I'm not in your head and you're
Right.
not in my head. I think I'm doing a great job. You might think I'm doing a horrible job. I need you to express that to me.
Well, and also because, we know this about each other because we've had these conversations before, but I am extremely like touchy-feely. And I didn't know that about myself until a couple of years ago. I thought I was more like, I don't know. But come to find out, through raising kids and things like that, I gave our kids so many kisses when they were little and so many hugs when they were little. Not even now. We talk about, I love you, I love you, I love you. We say, I love you 100 times.
We probably say, I love you back and forth between us and our kids.
Like 50 times a
5
day.
to 10 times a day. Good morning, I love you, love you. See you, I love you, love you.
But it's just I want to give her right now. I have to tackle our teenagers to give them hugs. Okay. I have to tackle them down.
Not Kenny.
Like yesterday, or no, it was Monday because we traveled through the weekend. I got back and I was like, Kenny, you didn't give me a hug. You didn't text me. You didn't do anything. And I said, give me a hug. So he was in the car seat, in the passenger seat. And I had to reach over and pull him in. And I had to go like this and tell him to give me a kiss. He gave me this little like rinky dink half one lip kiss here on the side of my face. I was outraged and I told him about it. But anyway, I have to wrestle them down now. They'll come back around. Hannah did. But anyway, I didn't know that I was so like touchy-feely, lovey-dovey, and I am. And so what I know about me is that you can tell me you love me 100 times a day, and I'll be like, oh, you can say it 200 times, baby. I like it more.
Now, to me, I feel like it loses its value if it's too much.
No.
So just saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, you look wonderful. To me, it feels like I would rather make it meaningful than just say it all the time just to say it.
That's funny.
You don't feel like that at all?
No.
That's crazy.
If you don't mean it, don't say it. Don't tell me. Don't lie to me. But if you mean it, say
some
it.
brothers are like, well, you should know I love you.
I know, but that's kind of like what you just said. You know what I mean?
You should know I love you.
It's more value if I tell you once a year that I love you on your birthday, because then you don't hear it all year round. Well, it's the same principle.
Okay.
So
here's number 4. I was thinking, learn her body and what makes her climax. Don't just go into sex. And I think we talked about selfish sex a little bit, and we kind of already hit this one a little bit, but I think it's very important. And so I would always say this, because I know that there are some who they're having physical challenges, whether it be testosterone or whether it be vaginal dryness. When it comes to physical challenges, go to the doctor.
yes,
Do
Get
everything
help.
you can do in the natural. They have testosterone pills,
You're not the only one.
shots,
A lot of people have problems.
bullet stuff. I mean, you're not the only one. And so we got to kind of demystify it a little bit and say, okay, I might need natural help, okay? And I think that's okay, but I think to say, I got this problem and I'm not going to go get help and I'm not going to try to change my diet or work out, I think that that's where it's challenging.
Right.
I think husband and wives, we owe it to our spouse to try to steward our bodies as we get older in a way where we are our best self. Now, I don't expect you at 48 to be a 28-year-old or 22-year-old. That's unrealistic. I know that we're going to change. You're changing hormonally, and I'm going to be changing hormonally.
Right.
But I still want to give
hormones right now making me sweat. Lord.
Yeah, help us, Jesus. But I want to make sure that I am still my best you. I don't want to like let myself go to where, man, this brother gained 150 pounds.
Yeah.
I right now am getting back in the gym. I want to make sure that I'm planning right now for who I want to be in my 70s. And so the way that I eat, the way that I steward my emotional health, my physical health, all of that kind of thing is also with you in mind, because yes, we're going to age together and things are going to change, but I don't want to just let myself go and be like, well, I got you, girl. You can't go anywhere. I just think that that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. I think it's unfortunate. And we owe it to ourselves and each other to be the best version of ourselves.
Right.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that.
Right.
So we should try our best.
Yeah. And so number 5 would be love her all day long. Sex starts in the morning. And so we thought about entitling this "We'll Work for Sex," because we were having a conversation with our team, and we were talking about what would turn on a woman. And it seemed like most of the women who were in that meeting was like, you would be turned on if he washed dishes or
Come
if he
on.
vacuumed.
See, I was
or if
going
he
to add
cleaned
that
the
on if
kitchen.
you didn't say that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We'll work for sex.
Yeah. And so I thought about that would be like a cool title, or we should get T-shirts like for men, like, or no, who would wear the T-shirt? We'll work for sex. That would be
The
me.
man would wear it.
Yeah. So I will work. I will, if that's what turns you on, that you need me to wash the car, take care of the kids, I will work for sex. We just felt like it wouldn't be a good T-shirt to wear to the mall.
No,
Seemed
you
like a
maybe
sex
on a
trafficker or
yeah.
something. Yeah, it's
but
not
we
cool.
said that because, and the husbands in the room were kind of amazed by this. You kind of knew a little bit, but it was just like, whoa, yeah, that. One of the reasons why, women will withhold sex or not be in the mood is because she's so bogged down with other responsibilities. Heaven knows if you have kids and younger kids, there's so many things that you could be doing that you're tired. If she works, she's tired. There's so many responsibilities that, as a husband, one of the things that you can do to turn a woman on is like wash the dishes. When she comes home, have the house clean so she doesn't have to do it. And it's like, okay, baby, you just freed up some time for me because we haven't been having sex because I got so many other things to do. But hey, you just made some time on my calendar. Let's go upstairs,
I halfway believe this whole thing is true. I think that this comment here was made up by a bunch of women that just wanted to say something, to add something to the conversation, because I feel like there's some men who will come and clean and she might not even notice it. That doesn't necessarily translate to sex. Now, I think we can come into agreement like, oh, baby, you're tired. I see you've been exhausted at the end of the day. You've been running around with the kids. Hey, I'll take care of this if we can have husband and wife time.
Yeah. And I think you're probably right. But those,
in the context of what we were talking
some
about,
people
it
just
was good.
don't want to do it and they're not going to do it, period. And there's nothing you can do about it. But there are women, me included.
Come on, do I have any other women like her?
Yeah, there are women.
You're out there. I know.
Yeah, we're out there. And it's just like, we had like a conversation the other day and it was just like, wow, I haven't been I guess maybe paying attention to our sex life. It would be like a few days went by and, it was like, and we were having a conversation and you're like, I seem occupied or like, not in the mood or whatever. And I'm like, I apologize because I was just like, babe, I'm sorry. I've just been busy. We had a family meeting and I freed up time on my schedule so that I can reprioritize and do things. But then I got caught up in the reprioritization of it all and just kind of like lost my mind and wasn't giving you any attention. And it was just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I even now, as our kids are all teenagers, get caught up in the moment. And yeah, like if you come home and I was supposed to make dinner, but you did it already. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you for that. There's a reward involved in all of this.
So we will work for sex.
Yeah,
we will
there's a
work.
lot of women who are
we didn't know
giving out goods for
a woman of God. You might want to tell your man
the work done.
that hey, if you can take care of some responsibilities, I'll be ready for you at night. You can get some more things done around the house. Get some bills paid, get the lawn mowed. Things are going to happen. But for me, this conversation that we just had, this is how it happened. It wasn't a few days. It seemed like it was more like a week. There was some time allotted here. And it was like I'm in and out of town. You're in and out of town. Tons of responsibilities. Maybe even the busiest season that I feel like we've ever had. Weight, responsibility, tons of stuff happening. And so I can't remember exactly, but I feel like I came in one night and it was like 7:30. We usually are together. And you was knocked out.
Wow.
And I came out of the shower thinking like, I'm taking a shower. When I come in, there's going to be candles. There's going to be little jazz playing over here. And you like, you out. Like no thinking about it. Lights on. No. And what made me mad is that you had the Bible out and then you had the Bible playing. And I was like, in my mind, because I know scripture, I'm like, doesn't the Bible say that I'm supposed to come first? And when you get married, you'll be about the things of this world. See, this is why So I'm thinking 1 Corinthians 7. I'm thinking about you supposed to be taking care of my niece.
This is what happens when you marry a pastor.
And being in the word, but I'm up here unmet. So I went to bed upset. So what I did is I got up in the morning, and you're just going about la, 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 putting the kids out. And I just say, sweetheart, can we talk for a minute? And he was like, yeah. And we just sat down, and it wasn't even our family meeting day. This is what I call
just a conversation.
A conversation in between family meetings that need to be had, because I was feeling like I was about to fester this for a few days. Sweetheart, I'm feeling like you have not been putting a priority on our sex life. And you was like, why? Why do you feel that way? Because we haven't had sex, and I don't feel like you're thinking about it. I feel like you're taking care of the ministry, taking care of our kids, taking care of, you want to write books, you got all this stuff coming on. And at the end of the day, you're not even there at all. And so what it did is that it opened up a great conversation.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth, and you were more like, oh, I had no clue. I'm so sorry. And I think that that's so good for women to hear, because you're never offended by me saying, hey, babe, I'm kind of being neglected here. And I wasn't offended either by you giving me your side that, okay, baby, I'm just tired. I'm menopausing. I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out. And we were able, but I know after that meeting, the next 3 days was great. It's on and popping again. So my moral to that story is that y'all need to sit down.
We got
and
some
talk.
rain checks going on after that.
Yeah. I'm tired now. No, I'm just. But we need to sit down and talk. We need to demystify this stuff and just say, this is what life is. This is it. This is it. I'm gonna be tired. You're gonna be tired. You know what I'm saying? Right now, my doctor have me on these supplements, and I'm taking this garlic. And garlic don't make my breath like what I want it to be. And I'd be like, baby, you're like, baby, yeah, just don't.
When you take garlic pills.
Like my stomach does not process garlic well. It processes it in
if you
way.
eat a garlic piece of bread, garlic bread,
but he has me taking garlic for my cholesterol or something. And I'm like, doc, you got to do something different. This is messing up my sex life here. I can't do this garlic stuff. But like, this is life. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, this is it. This is it. It's like, okay, you have different changes in your body. I got changes in my body. Yep. You got pressure. I got pressure. You got responsibilities. I got responsibilities. But somehow, every single day, we still got to work those things out, meet each other's needs, die to self. And I got to start with sex in the morning. So I cannot make you do anything, but I can do stuff as a husband.
Yes.
I can do my part. I can figure out your love language. I can compliment you, make you feel secure, love on you, whatever I got to do. But I got to be willing to talk to you to figure out what that is and continue to dwell with you according to knowledge until I figure that out. And then I'm going to start foreplay. Foreplay is not a bad thing. Foreplay is an all-day thing. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, text. Hey, I'm thinking about you. Maybe a little dirty picture or something I'm sending to you. That stuff can go in the cloud. I don't do that because I'm a pastor. I end up on TMZ or something. But what I'm saying is that I really, I'll be thinking about sending you some inappropriate stuff.
I feel like I would accidentally text it to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Because I do that a lot. Yeah. I send text to the wrong person. I'm like, oh, my bad. Yeah. That would be horrible.
Yeah. In closing, anything else that you want a man to know?
I would say that if a woman is turned on and put in the mood whenever she feels good about herself. And so the more, whatever you can do to give her the confidence to feel good about herself, she has a responsibility to own that herself, you know? Like me, I'm going to make sure if I need my nails done, I get my nails done, my hair done. I'm going to make sure I brush my teeth or take a shower. I'm going to take care of myself. That's my part. But whatever you can do to add to my confidence, that's good. It'll work out in your favor.
Oh, that's good. I'm taking notes. I got it. I've learned. I'm growing. I got it. All right. Well, thank you for that.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
it. Man, I hope this blessed you. If you are a man, we just saved you some drama and we just invested into you. I hope you appreciate the investment. Hey, make sure that you share this with other men that are in your life. We need to see this nation that we have called Doing Life with Ken and Tabatha. We need more men. I know we got some real men of God that are out there who are taking the leads in their home. And they're leading spiritually and in prayer and in bringing their family to the house of God. But we need to get more men with this kind of information, which is spirit-filled, godly information. So make sure that you share this with other men that are in your life so that we can better take care of the most precious thing that God has given to us, which is our wives. You are my favorite from the Lord, sweetheart. And so, hey, guys, we're out of time for today. If you enjoyed today, Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're tuning in on YouTube, hit the icon so you can be the first to get the content as it is released. We would love for you to come be with us here in Orlando or Tampa or Gainesville at Alive. Our website is in the show notes, but we also have a conference every year in October called Alive Conference.
Alive Conference.
There might be a waiting list right now for tickets, or they might be for sale. Just go over to our website, check them out. Plan to come this October. I know it's going to be an encounter with God that could transform your life forevermore. 2.5 days
Amen.
can change the next 25 years, all right? We have a marriage boot camp. We got some marriage devos. We got all kinds of things on our website. Check over there if you want to continue to invest in your relationship. And tune in again on next Thursday, and we're going to get down and dirty. Maybe that's not a good phrase. We're gonna get up and holy.
My goodness.
It's gonna be good, y'all. Love y'all. See you next time. Peace.